First of all, really proud of the way our team took the field tonight. I've been challenging this group on fighting complacency and showing maturity that way, that regardless of the opponent, regardless of what happened a week ago, we don't have to relax and say, okay, and take a step back. We can keep pressing, keep pushing forward, keep getting better. And I challenge them to take the field with the same intensity that we would have took last week at U of A. And I think it was very evident in the first quarter that we did that. And in the first half, obviously a couple guys here really set the tone for that. Sua with the interception, Cody just really managing the offense. And I talked about this last week about Buck, about when you're challenging guys to improve certain aspects of their game, you'd like to think as a coach, if you're coaching it the right way, you're going to get results. And I think we saw that tonight with Cody. We've challenged him on, we want more explosive plays in our offense. We want to throw the ball down the field more and to trust our guys that they'll go make plays. We did that from the very beginning. And they weren't all completions. They weren't all caught. But it became an aspect of our team and our game that created bigger plays, got our average yards per play up, and we got yards in chunks, and in turn we scored more points. So that's got to be an aspect that we need to continue to improve. Obviously, we got a little bit nicked up. I don't think serious, but Dory had a hip flexor that was kind of nagging him, so that's why he was held out. Hopefully, we can get him back next week. Gerald Bowman was battling kind of a sprained foot, which we need to get him back. Soma Vanuku with the hamstring, he was out tonight. George Farmer with the hamstring was out tonight. So we need to get our able bodies back healthy, and so that'll be a point of emphasis for ourselves moving forward. We'll enjoy it because the guy sets a school record for touchdown passes tonight, but quite honestly, our minds are already on to Utah.
Sark, you said earlier this week that you were unsure of this team's identity. Do you think that the team made any headway after this game, and if so, how would you describe the team's
I think that we're a team that believes in running the football, and I'm not going to change that, and we're going to continue to get better at it. And when you're a team that believes in running the football, you have to make defenses pay for loading the box. You have to have the ability to throw the ball down the football field. And when you have those two things going for you, then life is good. Then it's that kind of that cat and mouse game with the defense. Are you going to load the box? Now you're one-on-one on the outside. If you're going to play, safeties deep, now we should be able to run the football. And I'm just not going to waver off that. I love the fact that we had two backs just about over 100 yards each again tonight, and we threw 7 touchdowns. To me, that's an awesome identity to have. We need to continue to try to stay aggressive defensively, continue to try to get out the quarterback, get off the field on third down. Sometimes numbers can be skewed defensively because the game goes the way it goes and a team runs 95 plays. The reality of it was their average yards per play were 4.2. That, to me, that's a good number without our first defense out there the whole time. So a lot of positives, but I think we're moving in the right direction.
Cody, as it's happening, are you aware of how many touchdown passes you're throwing, that you're approaching a record or any of those things?
Somewhat. I'd be lying if I said I didn't, but that wasn't my focus. I think someone, I want to say Jalen or someone kind of made a joke about it on the sideline that I only needed 1 or 2 more. And before I cut him off, before he even said, I said, don't say anything. I don't want to make it about that. But no, it was a combination of things. The receivers doing a great job getting open, offensive line, really studying film this week. Turk did a great job of going to extra film with those guys and learning some of their blitzes and knew what they were going to do, and they twist and move around. So it was a combination of everything. And it was like Coach said, trust our guys more. Not necessarily throw it up and see who comes down with it, but if it's one-on-one, the reason these guys are here, we trust them that they're going to make a play over someone else. And I really bought in to what him and Coach Helton told me this week of giving our guys a chance. And there's a couple times there that our guys came down and made the play and helped me out.
Cody, I understand clearly you're about to win, but there's been some great quarterbacks in this program. They've won Heisman trophies. What does it mean for you to have this school record in touchdown passes?
Yeah, it's definitely, like you said, it's a team thing, and we're already moving on to next week. But at the end of the day, it's awesome. And I think the most meaningful thing for me is that I got to watch the guy before me set the record too. I got to see Matt do it, and he taught me so much while he was here. He pretty much like a big brother to me. So it's obviously an honor for me to be able to break his record. But at the end of the day, I'm thankful he set the bar so high and taught me everything he did. But yeah, I mean, like at the end of the day, it's a team effort, and I wouldn't have done it without the rest of the guys on the team.
Sarks, before you look too far ahead to Utah, he's got 18 touchdowns and only 1 interception. What's he doing well?
Well, I think he's running our offense really well. And as we've touched on here before, we have a lot of plays in our system where he's got, dual reads, run pass options. He's got multiple progression reads. He's got reads where he has to decipher if it's a 1 high or a 2 high safety look and which direction to go with the ball. And he handles all of those different types of things really well. So to me, I think he's just running our offense well. He takes to coaching. He takes to hard coaching. Coach Helton and I neither of us are just buddy nice guys during the week. We coach this guy harder than any other guy on our team, and he accepts it, and he comes to work every day with the mindset to get better.
So you guys started the defense off, or you started the defense off with a great interception. Can you tell us how that set the tone for the defense, please?
I mean, they were driving the ball their first drive, and we just wanted to get off the field, and the quarterback threw. I didn't think he was going to throw it. We were running quarter defense, and quarterback looked and pumped, and I didn't think he was going to throw it. And, luckily he did. Should have scored, but I got tripped up.
Is that where you were so mad?
Yeah.
Afterward?
No, I didn't. I thought Colorado was there chasing me from behind, so I wasn't being too patient. I saw my blockers, and running back, he did a great job. He just shot and got my legs before I could even cut back.
You said after last week's game that it shouldn't have been that close. What did you think of tonight's?
I mean, I think we did a great job tonight, first half and second half. I think our twos did a great job in containing them in the fourth quarter. I know they got a late touchdown, but I mean, it's football. They're all scholarship players, and they're going to get their points. I mean, they're great athletes, just like we're great athletes. But I'm proud of our team overall.
Tony, looking back before tonight, did you realize maybe you were a little reluctant to throw the ball downfield?
Yeah, that's something that, we focus on, is that, I pride myself in not turning the ball over, but at the end of the day, you can only do so much in that category, and you got to give your guys chances to make plays. Coach Sark and Coach Helton, called me in earlier this week and talked to me about, hey, if it's one-on-one, put it up. Let our guys go make the play. Not necessarily throw it in a double cover to try to force something, but if it's one-on-one, we trust our guys here to make plays, and that's something that I need to do more as we move along. But yeah, I think tonight I started showing that, is that, even I think the first touchdown on Nelson, there's 2 guys on him, but he got a little bit of a crease, and I kind of threw it in there. And that's something I need to continue to improve on the rest of this year. If it's one-on-one or these guys are tied, that's why we recruit guys here to trust them that if I put it up, they're going to go make a play for me.
Having thrown that interception last week, did it make it easier for you to kind of let loose a little bit?
No, I even said after the game last week that I've thrown, plenty of interceptions in my career. Everyone was making a lot more big a deal than it was for me. I didn't, the whole not throwing interception thing, it's going to happen. You're going to throw interceptions, guys are going to make plays. But yeah, I've treated it as okay, learn from it, move on, just as I would an incompletion or a misread. But yeah, I came out this week and learned from that, and made better reads, made better decisions this week, and really tried to push the ball down the field.
Sark, the offense that we saw tonight, is this the balance that you want to see when you play Utah, or were the conservative, be careful because you're playing in a rabid stadium? How does that play into it?
I think every game's different. We know it's going to be a hostile environment, 8 o'clock kickoff, blackout, all that stuff going on. We're going to run our offense. Part of our offense depends on what they decide to give us. And then that's the critical decision making on Cody of throwing the ball to the right guys at the right time based on what they're giving us. We'll start studying the film of Utah just from laying on the couch the other night watching them play Oregon State. They're a very aggressive group. They've got a good front. They play aggressive in the back end. So we're going to have our work cut out for us. And like I said, that work starts as soon as we're done in here.
The beginning of the game, or very close to the beginning of the game, Juju Smith made a diving catch right in front of your sideline, and everyone was kind of going crazy. Was that kind of a spark, you think, for everybody?
Well, I think it helped. Juju's been battling a bad thumb, and for him to make a one-handed catch on a bad hand, he was actually wearing a soft cast under his glove on that one-handed catch. So I think the team appreciates guys that are fighting through stuff, because everybody's fighting through something. Everybody's got something negative. This guy's got a sore hand. This guy's getting beat up every side. We're all fighting through stuff. We recognize that what guys are fighting through, and when guys make those types of plays, we've got a team that appreciates guys giving it their all to go make those plays.
Coach, you talk about you wanted to let your guys throw the ball downfield more and maybe be a little bit more aggressive, and the running game seems to be clicking and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't this all boil down to the offensive line improving a lot?
Without a doubt. I said that earlier in the week. If somebody asked me what group on our team has probably improved the most from the beginning of the season until now, I would say it's our offensive line. I thought they were very good again tonight. We gave up a couple sacks, and one of them. but they're improving and they're playing really well together. I think Coach Drebnow's done a phenomenal job with that group. They've got a lot of pride. We rotate players in there, and at the end of the day, that they allow us to do the multitude of things that we do. We're not a simple offense. We've got a lot of offense going right now, and it's because of those guys. We've got a lot of different running game schemes and different things, and they handle it all.
It's pretty exciting to know you're going to have a lot of those guys around for quite a few years.
Oh, it's very exciting. We're here, like I said, I came here to win and to win now, but I'm also here to build a program and to develop a program. And to me, if you really want to do that, the foundation of that has to start up front on your offensive line. I think we're in a good place there.
Cody, you got to see a lot of the touchdown passes on the big board. What jumped out at you? You got a chance during the game to...
Yeah, it was awesome. I think, not only that, but just the biggest thing for me was that, I got to watch the guy before me break the record, and I got to see Matt Barkley do it. And, he taught me so much, about playing this position. I learned so much from watching him. I kind of absorbed him kind of like a sponge. And to be able to do that is something that, I take a lot of pride in. Matt, in my opinion, from, one of the best quarterbacks ever played here, to be able to do that is really cool. But it's all about preparation, too. That whole thing. Receivers making plays. Steven Mitchell making his first touchdown catch was to help me break the record and, laying out and selling out for the team. And I think that's something that, Coach Sark has done a really good job of implying to these guys. And it's really starting to show is that, there's no individuals on this team. Guys are starting to sell out for the team, offense, defense, special teams. And if we can continue to buy into that and continue to work in that, this team can go a long way, in my opinion.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.